Well, thank you to the member for his question. Better insulation of London's home plays a key role in meeting net zero targets, tackling the cost of living crisis and improving the quality of Londoners' health and well-being. The scale of the challenge is considerable, but the opportunity for skilled green jobs is also huge. The insulation of London's homes needs a workforce with a range of construction skills from energy auditing and design through to installation and retrofit. To address these skills needs, public and private employer investment in training is required, both for the existing workforce and for new entrants. I'm pleased that business-led local skills improvement plan in London will prioritise green jobs and skills. City Hall will continue to support its development in partnership with London's business groups. Through London's £320 million annual adult education budget, I'm supporting training in building and construction along with other key green courses. Earlier this year, I launched my £44 million Skills Academy programme, with green skills being established as a priority sector. As part of this, I've been clear that one of our aims must be to support greater diversity and inclusion in the sector. My Skills Capital programme will become available in spring 2023 for investment supporting the provision of green skills. And I've also launched my Skills Bootcamp for Londoners programme, which covers the green, construction and digital sectors. And this complements my Skills Academies and will provide short, high-level skills training in these priority sectors. City Hall will look to develop skills bootcamps in London to respond further to retrofit and wider green skills demands, subject to continued DfE funding. Construction jobs offer rewarding long-term career opportunities for Londoners, and as part of my careers programme, I'm promoting green job opportunities across all secondary schools and post-16 education. And this includes a series of green career events as part of Climate Kickstart, coinciding with COP27, to which I know the Assembly member has been invited. I'll continue to call on the government to fund a long-term retrofitting programme for buildings across the UK. This is essential to meet the challenges of both the climate and cost of living crises, and must include a clear strategy to deliver the training needed to support employers to recruit and train the skilled workforce they need.
Thank you. Can I begin by saying that the Conservative government need to make a massive sustained investment in retrofit, and to have not done is an abject failure, and actually they're spending billions of pounds of taxpayers' money on energy subsidies when we have some of the leakiest homes in Europe, and that's not acceptable. I want to turn, though, to what we can do. And actually, we saw the Green Homes grant debacle, and actually, when the supply chain wasn't ready, that ended up being another failure. So we need to be like a coiled spring, ready to go for if this investment does come. But right now in London, across the UK, we have less retrofitters, people ready to do it, than in the past decade. There isn't one single London college that runs a retrofit coordinator training course. And also, according to a report you published in January, there's no adult education funded courses specifically for things like retrofit. So can you reassure me on the actual numbers of people trained or training for retrofit or upskilled for retrofitting?
I think you've highlighted, it's a question I dealt with Peter Fortune. The problem is, look, can you hand on heart say to a young person or somebody retrain for this skill set when you can't guarantee work down the line? And so it's a chicken and egg situation. So we do know that the AEB sector wants to step in, and they're dexterous and flexible now in relation to providing these courses. We do know some of the private sector are really keen to help the AEB sector. And if we had a long-term plan, even 3 years, by the way, that would give some certainty to people to be retrained, because people are currently in jobs. We're giving them free training if they're in a minimum wage job or low-paid job to be retrained. What they need is some confidence there'll be jobs to go to. What we've said to the AEB sector is we want them to better monitor, nobody else does it around the country, people's employability once they've done the course. And if we can have, after a year, examples to point to saying, by the way, X% of our students who did this course got a job, that'll give confidence to others to retrain as well.
This sounds a little bit like something your Deputy Mayor Jules Pipe said to me, which was the Mayor cannot dictate to colleges that they'll train people for whom there's currently no job demand. But there's a retrofit London Housing Action Plan, which you said you're working closely with London colleges to implement. And they've said existing colleges and training programmes should be made aware of the demand for retrofit qualification and skills. So they think there's demand. I've spoken to installation, they think there's demand, and 2/3 of young people in the UK want these green jobs. So why did you declare a retrofit revolution, and then 18 months later we're still having this conversation?
Because we're, as far as the country is concerned, way ahead of the rest of the country, way ahead across the country in relation to retrofitting our homes, but we need to do much more. And the answer I gave to Peter Fortune was about the target we had, where we've got to get to. It requires a revolution. We can't do it by ourselves, though. And that's why it's really important we get support in relation to not just heat pumps, not just insulation, not just renewables, but other areas as well. the AEB sector is ready to step up. We know that Londoners want to be reskilled or trained for the first time in high-skilled paid jobs. What we need is some certainty there are jobs to go to. And we've got to be honest with you, what we don't want to do is sell Londoners a pup. Say, get retrained, huge expense to yourself, huge expense to the AP college, get big numbers trained, and there aren't the jobs to go to.
Just because I'm running out of time, on the AE budget, £320 million that you do control, 32 million of that is going on the Good Work for All fund. There's 40 providers, and you've said to my colleague Sean Berry last September that you will support new provision retrofitting with these 40 providers. Which of these providers actually does retrofitting? Because at the moment it looks to me like it's none of them.
Chair, I think the member's suggesting that I have the list of 44 in front of me, that I've gone through the list of 44 in advance of his question. Clearly I haven't, and so what I'll do is I'll write to him to give him the answer.
It'd be appreciated, because the biggest one, construction skills people, takes 744,211, but there is no retrofit or insulation courses available. So I'd appreciate you writing to me with which providers do that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.